Movie review: Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. Is Ryan Reynolds' new movie as bad as they say? The Hitman's Bodyguard wasn't exactly beloved by critics with a 43% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, but its star power combo of Ryan Reynolds and Samuel L. Jackson was more of a hit with audiences. With more than $180 million worldwide, a sequel was soon greenlit, and there was hope that, perhaps, it could learn from the mistakes of the original. However, Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard has received reviews that make the first movie look well received by comparison. A winking bash of wretched excess, wrote one, with another adding that no one will ever confuse this for a good movie. According to some, the only benefit the sequel has over the first movie is that it's around 20 minutes shorter. Ouch! Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard has now arrived in UK cinemas, so is it really as bad as those reviews made out? Not quite, but it's far from a good movie either. After the events of The Hitman's Bodyguard, Michael Bryce Reynolds has lost his AAA bodyguard license and is told by his therapist to take a sabbatical. Unfortunately for him, it doesn't turn out too peaceful as Darius Kincaid's Jackson, wife Sonia, Salma Hayek, shows up, asking for his help. It kickstarts a plot that wouldn't be out of place in a James Bond movie, as the trio find themselves on a European jaunt, all to stop terrorist Aristil Papadopoulos, Antonio Banderas, from destroying the European power grid. Why? Because the EU is about to impose tough sanctions on Greece, but really, the plot doesn't matter. Of course, Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard isn't trying to be Bond, and like the original, is a throwback to the 80s buddy action comedies. It's way more violent and cartoonish than any of those though, and sometimes strays into distasteful territory. One flashback stands out, especially, which doesn't always gel with the comedic tone. Bryce, in particular, gets a level of punishment that wouldn't be out of place in Looney Tunes. It's a one-note gag that's repeated to the point of boredom, and the same could be said of the majority of the sequel, as it's sorely lacking in variety. Pretty much every action sequence plays out the same way as our trio shout profanities, often at each other, while nameless goons die in bloody ways. The jokes don't fare much better, as the sequel too often goes for the lowest common denominator, or just seems to think that throwing plenty of swear words in the mix will be inherently funny. It's a teen comedy masquerading as an action throwback, and sure, sometimes a gag will land, but it's extremely hit and miss throughout. And yet, Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard isn't an entire flop due to the performance of its lead trio. Reynolds and Jackson might just be repeating the same beats as in the first movie, but it mostly still works. They are outshone by Hayek, though, the true star of the sequel, with a manic performance as the unhinged Sonia. It's playing up to a stereotype, but Hayek makes the gags land through sheer force of will. The rest of the cast don't fare as well with underwritten roles, although Morgan Freeman does get a brilliant introduction with an unexpected reveal. Like the rest of the movie though, it feels as though the writers came up with that opening gag for Freeman and didn't develop it beyond that. Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard isn't a great movie, but there's likely enough for hardcore fans of the first movie to enjoy, thanks to the efforts of the cast. It's a sequel that repeats the same trick with diminishing returns, even though it wasn't a flawless trick to begin with. And yes, it's shorter too, so there's that. Okay, please support by subscribing to our channel and clicking the like button. See you in the next video.